Hi guys, it's me, just Anderson again, and for this video that I will be dedicated to Women's History Month in March of 2026, I shall be talking about the first episode of the first season of Carmen Sandiego. Netflix's Carmen Sandiego. And the name of the episode is, originally enough, the Becoming Carmen Sandiego Part 1. Now, before I actually talk about the show at hand, let me talk about what I'm going to be talking about this one right now, rather than continuing on my little adventures with She-Ra and the Prisoners of Power. I love that show. Yeah, coming from a guy that goes to the gym a lot, I actually like that show a lot. It was funny, it was action-oriented, and it had nice animation to it too. Much like the shows I'm going to be talking about now. But unfortunately, it's got a little bit of an issue on Netflix. Now, from what I'm aware of, that Netflix actually produced this show. So I would hope that most of the copyright information and stuff would go directly to Netflix because they made this show. But the intellectual property belongs to somebody else. The maker of the He-Man toys and other ancillary things too. So it belongs to them. So when the copyright ran out for Netflix to release them, they went bye-bye, and they got canceled of the network, which is really sad because I really enjoyed that show. It was a good LGBTQ plus TV show, and it was good for little girls and little boys, to learn about certain things. And it was very educational in that regard, and very to explore the characters, not as much as I would like for them to be explored, but still with a nice little opening thing. And it was pretty cool. I especially like when they reverted back to the old original lifestyle for the original TV show. That was in season number, I think, 4 or something. When Katra and Adora were to team up against the bad guy. But that was pretty good. Now, they did this also with the Netflix. The Netflix Marvel series, like Punisher, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones. Yeah, I got the whole puzzle, no problem. But they reverted back to Disney and Marvel the whole, once the licenses were over with. That makes sense. Even though I don't like it, it still makes sense. Because I was halfway through the Punisher series and halfway through Daredevil, and then halfway through Jessica Jones before they made the big one off Netflix. But also streaming service. And I don't think I'm going to be buying Disney Plus anytime soon. So, before I get on to the other show, the Carmen Sandiego, which is a fabulous show by itself, I feel it's necessary to say that if Netflix wanted to rights to She-Ra and any other Netflix original shows like I was gonna say Minola, but Momoa, I think that's how we pronounce it, or anything else for that matter. They can obviously renew their licenses and the copyrights for another year or 3 or 5 years or whatever that takes. So we pay the nose for the access to the streaming service, so we should get what we pay for, rather than another dozen or so crappy Christmas movies or average Christmas movies. We should be getting more quality programming like She-Ra, like the Netflix Marvel shows. Not only that, but because of the LGBTQ, I think that it was more of it was more acceptable for Netflix to let that go rather than say a straight TV show. That's in my opinion. That they're very quick to get rid of things that don't involve straight people, where the straight shows are more permanent, I guess. Which is complete crap. So they should renew their licenses and or anything else that is important to us, rather than developing crappy spin-off shows and whatnot. So anyway, now that I just lost on my viewership on that little tirade, let me get on with that Carmen Sandiego show. Now, growing up in the 90s, I grew up with the acapella song show. The Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? That one. Yes, you do refer to that line. In particular, 3 times in this opening episode, which is something that I really like. And later on in this show, they do a bit of part where they do kind of a game type thing where when the pathways, they actually have a full acapella rendition of the original Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego show. The song with all the cast members of this show. So yay for that! They did the whole. They know what the feeling's like. And let's see. Well, I am aware that the 90s game show style of the TV show was not the original Where in the World of Carmen Sandiego. I believe that it was a cartoon at first, and that it was a computer game for the PC for all the fancy hubbub about the show, which is all fine and good. I was never really into PC playing, gaming and stuff, but that was a good thing. That was very educational. I like Carmen Sandiego herself, being a spicy Latina who would steal stuff. Kind of a little bit of stereotype there, but whatever. And the fact that she wore a red fedora and a red overcoat over a black skin suit was actually pretty fun too. It was sexy. Anyway, they carried that over into this show too. More of a kid-friendly version of that Master Thief. Also, I want to point out that I just thought of this show came out around the same time as Shiva and the Princess of Power. So I think I would consider this to be like a sister show to that one, even though it came off Netflix up in December, I think, which is much a disappointment to me and everybody else too. But anyway, another sad thing about that is that I can't find the actual TV show on Amazon, all the seasons and stuff. And I think that only goes up to like number 3 in the seasons, but I know for a fact that it goes longer than that. Similar on eBay. If you buy it on eBay, it's like an ungodly amount of money for that. So I'm not gonna pay for that. Hopefully Netflix will bring it back. They better bring it back. I'm not gonna be pissed off. You know what happens when you get me angry? I become Hulk Joey. In any case, the show follows a very similar animation style as that. I don't think did exactly the same type of animation, or what it's even called, but he did a pretty good job. They put more of a kid emphasis on the TV show with a bunch younger version of Carmen Sandiego, played by Gina Rodriguez. Not the porn star, but actually the girl from the show, Jane the Virgin, which I really like her voice in it, because it's a very cool, suave, sophisticated girl, like the voice of a suave, sophisticated, and kind of sassy, and kind of like her character. Plus, she kind of looks like Miss Rodriguez too, and Carmen Sandiego. Plus, the fact that she is Latina. I want to say she's Puerto Rican, Gina Rodriguez, but I'm not sure about that. And I like the way she has a Spanish accent on certain words like Buenos Aires and other stuff like that. And it's just pretty funny that she does like that, because my grandfather is from Buenos Aires. So that comes, would you guys consider me to be part Argentinian or not? I know that he wasn't Argentinian, he was Italian. So would that make me part Argentinian or 100% Italian? Anyway, it really gets about too much in the long run. So anyway, this shows her backstory about Lena, how she became a master thief. And first, it has her as a thief going around a French museum looking for jewels and pretty things to steal. No, one thing I like about this show and all the other versions of Carmen Sandiego is that they also do besides geography, they do they make mention of important or historical objects and buildings and all that you wouldn't think of normally when you think of a certain area. For example, the place that they're in this show, in the first episode, is not the Louvre. That we think of when museums in France, or in general, museums in, as a whole. When you think of museums, you think of the Louvre, the Smithsonian, a big one for that. This is not as big, but still it's got a pretty nice, I want to say diamond in it, or a blue gem. And it turns out that Carmen isn't working alone in this because she got a friend named the player. And he's been with her since the beginning, since before she went into the Vile School. The Vile School, which is valuable imports or joyous exports. But I would consider it more like a ugly evil type, sinister type of school. Or kind of the evil version of Hogwarts. And the leaders of the thing are a very diverse group of teachers. We have Miss the gym teacher. I can't remember the name of the teacher, but we have a gym teacher, which is a stereotype about the more built up like Texan type woman. I think that they could be leaning around to be a lesbian in this one because she's very aggressive, kind of masculine. She's also a cartoon version of Miss Bellbreaker from Porky's. And then you got the headmaster, stereotypical Austrian or German bad guy. I want to say he's a James Bond villain, but in a cartoon form. I can't say anything about that. Then you got another one that's like a fashionista, and I think she's African. I want to say she's African. But then you got another character that's a scientist, that's Indian, and then you got a Japanese guy called Shuttle-san. I think that the word in his name is just shadow, but because the Japanese has the word shan, it means like a highly respected person. They put that in there just for how they just make him to be more of a respectable guy. It's funny because in the show there's like they have coding for Miss Sandiego, which is a black sheep. Now there are two foreshadowing moments. One in which he made origami into a black sheep, and then the other part where they have the same sheep or a different sheep, but in a different thing with the girl tigress crunching down in it with a heel. Now that is a big foreshadowing of what happens in the later episodes. Same with Shuttle-san too. I don't know who voiced each person. I'm sure I'll probably figure out what day. But yeah. Then we have the cops, the Interpol cops trying to chase Carmen in the real world, and that when they Chase and Chase Devino, and the other one is I can't remember her name, but I do remember she's voiced expertly by Charlotte Chung. And please call me. Anyway, they're very good at the job and they're very focused on catching Miss Sandiego. And Kate even calls her La Femme Rouge, lady in red. That's more of a romantic thing than anything else. Now, the other funny thing is that name Kate is actually the name of the character Agent Archie's from the game Vigilante, the second offense. So I don't know if that's like a coincidence that the guy is British and his guy is French. I don't get like a thing or whatever, but it's funny. Also, what's also funny is that the guy is basically a square and his partner is more of a round shape. I find that interesting. Like in Pop-Up Girl with Professor Utoonium and the teacher Miss Clean being square and a circle. Respectively. Anyway, she is still fantastic. She'll escape Devino on rooftops, even though he kind of soggy in the middle. But like in Men in Black, he did that joke in Men in Black, and she gets away because she's more agile, more sexy, and she ends up going on a train ride. And one of her classmates, possible boyfriend, Cracker right there to crash on her and disable her toys and her communicator with player. Let me get the backstory about how she was an orphan and she went to live on Violet Island, and there were a bunch of nannies that she had, and that each nanny told her about, the exact land that she lived, that they came from and stuff, like Russia, I think the one from Buenos Aires, there was another one from, I forgot where it was, but another worldly place. And it's such a stage for her interest in important historical documents and jewels and historical things in general, visiting places around the world and all that. Which I would love to go. I would love to go to China, Japan, Russia, assuming there's a country left. Iran, Israel, Egypt, all the European countries, including Great Britain, which thank God somebody actually responded to one of my videos and said, I love it, love from Britain. So let me just give it a shot to that guy. Thank you, Britain. I love you. I can't wait to go see you. I'm not too fond of drinking tea. Look, I have a cup, but because my hands are kind of shaky and stuff, so we have a drink tea from with cups with one of those straws in them. With my pinky out, of course. So yeah, that. I need to go to the to go about talking about how she got involved with violent stuff, and that she did like childish pranks with the other classmates. With Tigress, there was the Tracker, and my favorite of all time, my favorite guy of all time, the mime. Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos like mimes. I don't know why everyone gives him shit all the time. Maybe because it's kind of boring. I don't know. I like mimes. Yeah. I regret having mime now. And Twist the Metal from Marlboro as a character. This car. And I like Mr. Mime and Pokemon. Like Mr. Mime and Powerpuff Girls. I like Mime Bomb in this show. That's what I do. And I like the way he's always got like creepy makeup and smell on. And that's some fun stuff right there. And I love the way he tags along with Carmen as she infiltrates Violet and wants to sabotage them and whatnot. So we see that the gym teacher is got a soft spot for her, Carmen. And it's actually pretty sweet and giving that she likes her. Not in a weird way either. Like she generally has like a mother-daughter type relationship with her. And she progressed throughout the class. The classes, even though she's a little bit younger than normal. And she aces everything. And speaking of aces, when they show all the people waiting around there for like the final scores, it reminded me of a Japanese or South Korean final exam chart with yay, nay, or pass or go, or whatever. You know, and the kids all waiting around, hoping, in the end, hope that everything is good and everything passed and the oral horror goes by. It's quite funny that she passed every test except for Shadow-san's thief pickpocketing that test. Tiger should use different methods to pick his pocket. So I mean, it's quite odd that he was the one that was the only dissenting vote that letting Miss Sandiego in the school because it was like a majority vote type of thing, and 4 out of 5 of them wanted her to be in there. So it was that he decided to walk away from the table at the end voted for her to get in there, and that she said that he might have been cheating by not putting anything into his pocket for her to take from him. That kind of mark as an honorable thing for him to do, for him to cheat like that. It's kind of like you have a goal, but the guy doesn't want you to complete that goal, so he removes it altogether off of his person, so you can't complete the goal. And that's actually good foreshadowing for what happens later on in the show's history. And it's kind of fascinating that they're setting up all this stuff with this guy and her, and this relationship, the hidden relationship in the shadow, if you will, what fully on. You always keep wondering, what's going on. But as you can tell, I've already seen all the episodes of this great show for this lovely, unknown and mysterious character. Yeah, the end of the episode had the main cast of classmates go on like a top secret mission with Carmen Sandiego stolen away on her in like a cabin or something on the helicopter as they're officially go on a mission and she just casually go on it in a way. And we also have Carmen telling her graham cracker, we use that much, graham cracker, as like she telling the story about how she became a real violation. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of like a high school hijinks type movie section right here, which feeds into the more professional degree type thing. And I like the way they show how each class leads to becoming a master thief and a master bad person and villain and whatnot. But it's quite funny because it's the only class that they have. What happened to all the other classes? All the other groups of people that graduated. You never saw that. But I do like the fact that Carmen had her nickname Black Sheep long before she became a member of Violet. In schools and stuff. High schools. Probably elementary school, top of that. Now, I like the fact that she's distinctive and cuteness in this version. And I have to ask this question. Do Latino women typically have red hair? Because I always thought that people of European descent, in particular the Irish and the Norwegians, have natural red hair. I don't believe that Latinos do have that trait. I know for a fact that most people don't have the trait. And it looks pretty garish when people dye their hair a natural red. I prefer regular natural red hair. But that's a good question actually. I mean, I would tell, like, for example, an Asian person, they're mostly brunettes. Caucasian people, like I said, only Irish and some English people and some mostly Nordic, North European people have red hair. Black people don't have red hair by nature. And people from the Middle East, they don't have red hair either. So that's an interesting question. I want to know the answer to that. I'm sure that it probably did for story reasons, making her into a redhead. that would feature into her fedora and overcoat. Which, by the way, I have a fedora in my closet somewhere that matches with her, and I do apologize for not having it with me right now, but it's buried, so I'll get next time for my next video on the show. Anyway, I thank you for watching my review of the first episode of the first season of Carmen Sandiego on Netflix. I believe it's called Becoming Carmen Sandiego Part 1. I did this for Women's History Month in March of 2026 because not all women in Women's History Month can be like Wonder Woman or Catwoman or say one next month. No, they can be bad guys or anti-heroes in this case. And as such, we give this a happy feast seal approval because on the other show, She-Ra, it's more about a close setting. She's not trying to set the world, not trying to keep it from blowing up. She's just a girl trying to survive and see a bunch of goodies. And by the way, she meets Player during this time period right before she goes into school. So it's kind of weird, he's a white hacker, which is basically a hacker, but more for good purposes, like a gray wizard or white wizard. And it's kind of funny that he works for her, even though he knows that she's stealing goods from valuable goods from museums and tombs and stuff. That's just kind of funny. Now he's talking about all the things he does call her red. And he's kind of disappointed that she got a best friend that's a man too. Trying to hopefully get together with her. I'm not quite sure if they actually meet each other during the course of the show, but it's still pretty funny. It'd be funny if they never meet in person. But anyway, this show is awesome. So totally watch it. It's worth that out on Netflix. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere that soon, thank God. So, yeah. If you guys like what you hear and want to see more of my channel and thoughts, you can always like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also contact me for future information on my videos by calling me or texting me at 631-707-3707. Or if you want, you can follow me on Twitter or X if you prefer it at PNuffmanPro. And you can get me my email at jjsjuniorchannel@gmail.com. So remember, I salute all you people who like the show, Carmen Sandiego in general, or, like having fun and seeing some good stuff to eat and stuff like this. Now, it's also very important to know that I was originally going to cover this show in the same time as I was going to do She-Ra too, but unfortunately She-Ra got canceled Got to go on Netflix for whatever reason, which is very unfortunate. So I have to do the sister program, which is about the same length as She-Ra. So I have to do this much smaller scale TV show, which I don't mind one bit. I love this show too. I especially like the opening in the next episode and beyond. And yeah. So peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys at the internet rate. And be the same truth.